I'm going to tell you a truth that you probably haven't heard, and that's that most OFM agencies are leaving 50, 100, and even $200,000 on the table. And it's not because their marketing sucks or they're not pulling in enough subs. A lot of times that isn't even the problem, and nor is because they don't have enough creators, obviously. The reason for it is because their chatting is trash. You can literally have a model, and I've seen this before with 500,000 followers, a million followers, and only be making 10K, 15K a month because your chatting is shit. My name is Griffin. I run a $250,000 per month agency, and I'm about to walk you through the exact chatting strategy that my agency uses. That's right, the scripts, the funnels, the team management, the hires, the whale finding, everything. This is the system that converts 1 to 8 to 1 to 16 chatting ratios for the past 6 months. This is the same system that took a creator from 2K a month to over $40,000 per month, all with the same marketing, same creator. All we did was fix the chatting. So, if you're stuck wondering why your creator isn't making that much money in 2026, even though your marketing, your traffic may be good, this is probably going to be one of the most valuable videos you've seen yet. But right before we get onto the entire strategy breakdown, the full Miro board breakdown, I need to let you in on something. Chatting is where the money is made. Marketing gets people to the OnlyFans page. Chatting is what makes people pay. And after helping dozens of guys scale their OFM agency, obviously including the chats, here's the brutal truth. And that's that most agencies treat chatting like an afterthought. They hire a random VA, they give them basically zero training, they just throw them into an OnlyFans page and they wonder, yo, why is my money not being made? And then they end up blaming the model, blaming the niche, blaming the marketing. But the problem in itself is that you have no system. They'll send generic PPVs, they'll hope somebody buys, they just freestyle every single chat. There's no strategy at hand. So let me show you what a real system looks like. This is what we run at my agency, and this is what makes me $250,000 a month generated every single month. And today I'm giving you the entire breakdown, no withholding. So let's go ahead and jump straight on to the Miro board here. As you guys can see, this is the $250K a month OFM chatting system. The same thing that brings traffic to the OnlyFans and to the chats, which equals the money. Like I said in the beginning, chats equals money. So let's get straight into it. Phase 1, which is the conversion foundation. In this, I want you guys to understand 3 things. Those 3 things are chatting ratios, buyer psychology, and also friction and funnels in your chats. First thing, chatting ratios. What is a chatting ratio in the first place? What a chatting ratio is, for all of you guys who are beginners, if you're experienced, you already know this, but is for every $1 is made in subscriptions that people subscribe to your paid page, how much money is actually generated in the chats. What you want to do to simply figure this out is you can go into a calculator and basically say, give me a chatting ratio from subs to messages in a 1 to 12 / 1 to 2 format. And then go, I made XYZ in subs and XYZ in messages. Type that into an AI and you'll have your chatting ratio, or you can just simply divide it. But what is a good chatting ratio? What are we shooting for? First off, trash is 1 to 1 to 1 to 3. If you're doing that, you are losing out money on the table. Good is going to be a 1 to 5 to 1 to 7. This is where you're kind of taking advantage of your chats. You're not letting everything go to waste, but you're still not taking full advantage of what you could be making. Elite, which is where I shoot for, is anything from 1 to 8 to 1 to 15 plus. Now, do not expect to go to 1 to 15, 1 to 16 plus very quickly. Not only do you have to have insanely good chatters to be able to do this, you also need a solid content strategy. So this will also depend on the quality of your model, how hard working your model is, overall how established your creator is. You don't just get a 1 to 16 chatter ratio just from good chatters. But second part of this is buyer psychology. You need to not only understand how to make money, but who makes you money, okay? There is 4 types of people that will subscribe to your page. Number 1 is going to be freebie hunters. This is going to probably be responsible for 70% of the people in your page. Freebie hunters are the people that come on your page. They're looking for that one thing in your post. They'll most likely scroll through the entire wall before they DM you, and they're looking for free content, okay? Make sure you don't waste your time with these people. With these people, you want to test their buyer psychology. You want to see if they will actually do micro commitments, buying $3 PPVs, $5 PPVs, things like that. And if they don't, drop them. Do not waste your time. Second part of this is casual buyers. These are the guys who will come in here, buy a PPV, chat with you, send you DMs, not something that you're chatting every single day, but will actually spend money on your page. We're looking at probably anywhere from 50 all the way to thousands of dollars on your page. This is going to be responsible for 20% of your clientele. Number three is custom buyers. Now, these are the guys who are wanting exclusive things from you, wanting a parasocial relationship, wanting to actually be in your chats, be in your DMs. You will be chatting a lot to these guys, and these guys will be responsible for 8%. They'll be asking you for customs. They'll be asking you for more exclusive content. This is where a lot of your people who finish out full entire scripts will be. And then lastly, you have your whales. Now, your whales only will really make up 2% of your entire clientele in your chats, your fans, but at the same time, they can be responsible for 30% of revenue sometimes. That's if you're running a bit of a smaller page, but they can be responsible for a large amount of percentage. So even though they have such little pull as far as how many people are inside of that as being whales, they have immense traction when it comes to actually generating revenue. So we're going to get into exactly how to handle, identify, and sell these whales the most later in this video. So keep watching. Now, third of this, like I said, is funnels and friction. How do we actually make sure that people are, once they've gotten off the marketing, the service level, the IG, the TikTok, the Instagram, or the Snapchat, all of that, how do we actually make sure that they subscribe? Two things at play here. One is discounted pricing. It's just something, it's a CTA, it's an incentive for somebody to buy. What I always recommend is doing a $10, that was the worst thing ever, but a $10 thing with a 50% discount. So it's going to end up flat at $5. I honestly find this more beneficial than running a 90% discount. I know in the past, I have recently said, run a 90% discount, do this. I've recently reran my conversions with a $10, 50% discount and found more success with this. So a discount with a nice sub message, and then also the OF landing page. Remember, boys, you have one last chance to make sure that somebody subscribes to your page. So if your profile picture is not on point, if your bio is not on point, you might be losing out on conversion. So you need to make sure that both your discount for incentivizing and also your OF landing page is perfectly set up for people to actually buy content. Now, moving on to phase two, which is the welcome system. This is something that 99% of agencies miss out on. A lot of fucking guys do not take the welcome system seriously. They're like, oh, if I just send PPVs, if I just try and make the most money, if I have decent chatters, I don't need to have a strategy. You are missing out on income because this is what makes those PPVs, those scripts sell even more. So step one of this is a welcome message, obviously, right? Second, a fan comes inside of the page, we wait 1.5 to 2 minutes and send them this message. OMG, thanks for the sub. What's your name? We switch this depending on the creator, but the whole idea of it is we ask them one simple question. Okay? We're not trying to fool them into necessarily thinking that, oh, I'm sending you this custom piece of content. I know a lot of guys will send a PPV right off the bat. I don't necessarily agree with that because if you can send that $10 PPV, $5 PPV right off the bat and they buy it and they finish and that's all they wanted to on your page, cool. You may have got $5, $10, but if you can get their name, build a relationship, sell a micro commitment of $5, $10, boom, you made that money there, and then go along to sell a whole script, you're going to make more money overall. If they don't reply to this, you always need a backup plan. So we have an automation where it waits 2 minutes and then send another text message, basically saying, if you respond, I'll send you a free pick. And we usually incentivize people inside of if you respond to, if you respond in 2 minutes, if you respond in the next minute, if you respond in the next 5 minutes, to really incentivize people to go in there and chat, okay? Because a lot of times if you just send, if you respond, they still might think it's a bot. They might not think it's real, whatever. It doesn't matter. The whole idea of it is we want to incentivize these people to respond now and not later. Second part of this, and also, boys, there's a third step that comes after this where basically we send them a full PPV, not a PPV, but just an image of whatever, and basically say, is this what you came on the page to look for, right? And then if that doesn't open the chats, we give up from that point. Step two, gather intel. So you've sent that welcome message. They've started talking. You're in the conversation. If you haven't immediately, if they're not, a casual buyer or a custom buyer or somebody that just wants to buy a PPV and they're actually a normal fan, gather intel is step two, okay? So with this, you want to collect their real name, their job, their payday, their kinks and preferences, their personality, okay? Why do we want this? One, if you were going to sell to a customer, would you or would you not want to know that customer's ICP or basically what your customer, your ICP's biggest issues were, biggest problems. So you could then solve them, position it, and market them as solutions, obviously, right? So what we do is we gather all of that intel and then we create a chat profile. Like I said, name, job, payday, kinks and preferences, personality type, purchase history on pages, and the last message date. And it'll look something like this. Just write it in the fan notes. You can read this. I'm not going to read this out loud, but you can clearly tell exactly what we list inside of here, what we don't list, everything like that. So we have rules, we have notes, we have paydays, girlfriend, preferences, hobbies, job, finances, everything. Okay. So we make sure to include that. Why? Because every chatter that comes in after that is going to be able to see the fan notes so they don't mess up when actually chatting with that fan. Now, step number 4 is soft offer. This is simply having a conversation, okay? I know a lot of you guys believe in, the whole scripts having text attached and you can't go off the script or this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, if you sent this guy right here something about domination and, you had domination in the script, he will get turned off. He will not buy that PPV. So why would you have one end-all text across every single script to make sure that you never change? That's why when we soft offer, we have a conversation, okay? We are customizing whatever we are selling to that fan based off the information that we collected. Make sure that you guys freestyle your text, but have scripts in place because you can change whatever you say during that script. You can make a script be a domination script. You can make a script be a soft script, a femdom script based off text, but you cannot change it if you have, attached text with every single PPV. So step 3, now that we've learned how to welcome it, we've learned how to set up every single fan the second they come on the page, we've learned what types of fans are on the page, what we're shooting for. Now we get into phase 3, which is core sales funnel. So there's 3 funnels that you guys want to look out for. Funnel A is going to be our big spenders. So casual buyers, whales, things like that, okay? These are the people who reply to your message consistently. They ask you questions about you. They compliment the model. They've bought small PPVs already in the past, and they show signs of emotional investment. These guys are going to be your custom buyers. They want something personal with your model, that parasocial relationship, okay? Your job for them is to offer customs fast. So, like I said, with the script template, depending on what they have, you need to customize it. But generally, you're going to look something like, hey, David, I love chatting with you earlier. Personal, okay? You want to create a relationship with this person. I was thinking I can make a custom video just for you, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I obviously just drew this up really quickly for the video. Make it more personal, make it match your model's personality. Don't copy this word for word. Like I said, it would be describe their preference based on your intel that you got earlier, and then saying I charge $75, $80, $100, whatever you and your model actually agree on for customs, and ask them what they want. Now, pricing for this is going to be something like this. You can take a minute, pause the video. The whole idea is we want to make sure that there is still a premium feel. So we don't want to offer this exclusive content and then sell it for $20, $35, $50. Minimum price is $50 for a very short video. Me personally, I wouldn't even do a 47-minute video. That would be more like a 3-minute video, maybe 4-minute video. But moving up to, $200, $300 for the big full-time videos and personalized talk. Now, what happens after they buy? This is very important. A lot of you guys are focused on the buy. How do I handle it? Once I sold it, I don't give a fuck anymore. I understand you got your money, cool. But to make sure that this happens again and again and again and again, this is important. 1, deliver fast. Nobody wants to buy a product that has to wait 2 weeks to get it, okay? So if your model is taking forever to make a script, you need to at least communicate with that fan. Hey, I'm traveling right now. Sorry, I'm having trouble, blah, blah, blah. Communicate with that fan no matter what. Do not go ghost, okay? But if you can, deliver within 12 to 24 hours, 48 hours max is what we tell our models. Your follow-up, I hope you loved it. Let me know if you want another one. I enjoyed making it for you, blah, blah, blah. What was your favorite part about it? Things like that. And then add them to your VIP, your customs, whatever it is, list so that they know, your chatters know that they get first access to exclusive content. Now, funnel B is your regular spenders, your average fan. These are the people who have bought at least one small PPV, reply occasionally but aren't super chatty, and like your content but aren't emotionally invested. Now, really quickly, boys, before we move any further, I just want to say we are talking right now about the broad idea of chatting. I want you guys to understand what chatting is before we get into the actual deep sauce about team management, how to funnel these people, how to manage chatters, how to hire chatters. Before we get into the real game here, boys, you need to understand this first, okay? Because if I teach you all of this and then you don't, if I teach you, how to do team management, how to do all of those value packed fucking things, you won't be able to actually profit off of it the most if you don't understand this. So if you may be asking, already in this video, yo, why is he just telling me what types of fans are on the page? Be patient, okay? This is important. It's probably why you're broke. Anyways, back to it. These people want value, not connection, okay? They're looking to just get the most exclusive, the craziest, their kink happy product, okay? They'll buy if the content looks good and the price is right. Your job is to do that for them. Send PPVs consistently with good framing. How to frame it. I just filmed something, I'm nervous about it. I've never done something like this before, blah, 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 blah. That way you can bump the price up. If they don't like what you have to send them, always say, so little tip for you guys, if they say, oh, that's too expensive, be like, oh yeah, sorry, my nudes are expensive. I don't want to hurt your pockets. That's always something that I go to. Or if they say that has no nude exclusivity in it, blah, 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 be like, oh, I didn't know, I'm sorry. Or if they've told you that and you can't just be like a dumbass and say you didn't know, you can just simply say, my nudes will hurt your pockets. Blah, blah, blah. That's what we train our chatters to do. Now, pricing on this and what not to do. How often? I want you guys to be doing this 2 to 3 times a week minimum, okay? Do it to the point where they buy it, but don't spam it in a sense of they feel pressured to buy it, okay? If you ever have a fan saying, oh, this is the 5th one this week, holy shit, let it dry a little bit, okay? Now, space them out, like I said, rotate content types so they don't just have the same repeat video over and over again. That's how they lose interest. Pricing structure, 10 to 15 for a teaser, 25 to 35 longer. You guys can just look at that. What not to do, okay? Don't send the same PPV to everyone. Second, don't overprice or underprice. Test your pricing and adjust whatever that is. Don't ignore buyers. They might buy later, okay? Just because somebody isn't, buying immediately or this, that, the other, don't scratch them fully, okay? You need to keep contact with them. Now, with this, also just some tips. 1, create curiosity. Never done before. Holy shit, this is special, blah, blah, blah. Make them feel special. Make them feel like, oh, I enjoyed chatting to you. A lot of guys don't talk like you do. Make them feel special. Justifies the price. Took forever to film. Or I struggled making this, but I wanted to make it for you. All this. And then give them a choice. Don't be pushy. Now, last but not least, your tire kickers. These are what I call the guys that just, they sub for free or on a heavy discount. They haven't bought anything. They don't reply to messages and they're just lurking on your page. Step 1, if they reply, okay, if they're in the chats replying, send a $3 to $5 micro PPV. But before I go any further, also boys, remember you can send automated messages to these people if you put them in a list and then send that message to all of those people, basically saying, hey, if you resub or if you chat back to me right now, I have this huge deal or this, that, and the other. Try and re-engage them, okay? And then what you want to do is sell them a $3 to $5 micro PPV, bare minimal, make it seem like the best deal of their life, and then that will shift their psychology into purchasing. If they don't purchase, don't waste your time. But when they can do micro commitments like that, like $3 here, $5 here, it shifts their psychology that purchasing things on this. Because a lot of the times, it's just with these type of guys, the tire kickers, they just don't think that buying on OF is either right, or they think it's weird, or they don't want to, blah, blah, blah. You want to shift that psychology into purchasing. And then from there, you have 2 options. Either A, you can move to funnel B, funnel A, depending on the seriousness of the fan and money, how well you shifted. Or 2, if they're not really that serious, create FOMO, fear of missing out, and make sure that you just try to make them actually purchase. But moving from there is phase 4, the whale hunting. All right, we're going whale hunting, boys. Buckle your fucking seatbelts. Now, first step of whale is identifying what is a whale in the first place. These guys buy your PPV within the first 24 hours. They tip to you without being asked. They send you long messages. In those messages, it's usually personal, or they ask personal questions. They ask how your day was. They expect you to ask them how their day was. They want to get to know you. This is where the parasocial relationship really comes in play. If you guys don't know what that is, feel free to look it up. It explains a lot what I'm talking about here. Second to this, building connection. This is the most important thing. Like I said, these guys want a relationship. So reply fast within 10 to 30 minutes if possible. Way sooner if you're having 24/7 chatting, okay? This is for beginners. I have 1 chatter, 2 chatters. if you have 24/7 chatting, these guys should be in a list. These guys should be pinned. These guys should be getting answers literally the second that they type, okay? Now, second to that, use your name constantly. Also, boys, really quickly, rewind really quick. If you are constantly immediately chatting back on a whale, last thing that you want your whale to think is that chatters are talking to them, okay? They will, most of the time, if you have a whale, they'll know about agencies, they'll know about chatters, they'll know about that whole game. You need to make sure that you have your best chatter chatting to whales. Don't let anyone on your page just chat to that fan, okay? So what we do, if we have a really big spender, like for instance, on one of our bigger accounts, we have a whale who literally spends close to 10K a month on one of our models. So we literally have in the name, do not chat to, okay? And only 2 chatters are responsible and can chat to that fan. Now, second to that, use their name constantly if they like it. Ask about their day, their life, their interests, make them feel heard, send them free content occasionally, okay? Don't charge them for everything. That's the sort of thing you guys want to get across. Is like, you want to make it seem like you're not there just to take their money. You're there for the real relationship. So don't charge them constantly. 2 or 3, excuse me, offer high ticket, okay? Whales will spend, but you have to ask, you have to ask right. What to offer? I want you to offer customs, okay? Longer videos, more explicit videos, things you've never done before, only for you, things like that. Girlfriend experience. So daily texting, exclusive content, personal attention. Video calls are also a big captivator on here, and also exclusive access. So, 1K plus, they get access to everything first, maybe a private Snapchat, maybe, phone number if you go that far, but I really don't recommend on that. Now, 4 is retention. Whales are fragile, okay, boys? These guys are honestly pussies at the end of the day, but you need to make sure if they feel ignored, if they feel undervalued, or like you're just using them for money, like I said earlier, they will leave. So check in regularly, even if they haven't bought recently, send them free surprises, make them feel irreplaceable, and never ghost them, okay? Ever. That should be without saying. Now, I hope you guys, like whales are one of those things, just to kind of rewind on that. Whales are one of those things that if you do it correctly and you, slowly build up a connection of 5, 6 whales, they can literally be responsible for 20K a month on your page. But if you don't handle whales right, if you don't retain them, they can literally come 2 days, a week, and just go, okay? But if you can retain a whale, create a relationship, you can have that fan for months and months and months. They also hack for you guys. I always like to seem jealous on some of my pages. So on some of our girls, we have a few whales that will be like, you're not chatting to any other OnlyFans girls, are you? Just to make that more of a personal connection with that person. Now, phase 5, systems and team management. This is where the real sauce comes in. First off, team structure. What is in a chatting team? Number 1 is a chat manager, okay? These guys will manage all the chatters. They'll train new chatters. They'll handle whales personally, like I said earlier. They'll review content performance, and overall, they'll make your life easier, okay? If you're a beginner, somebody a little bit newer to the OFM space, this will be you for the first probably month or 2 of your chatting. Now, if you're established, making 10K a month plus, you can easily afford a chat manager. They'll cost you anywhere from $300 to $400 a week. Now, chatters, plus 1 reliever per model. You're going to, obviously, relievers are going to take 1 day out of the week for the days off, as in each chatter has 1 day off of the week. That chatter is going to cover those days off. Each chatter work 8-hour shifts. So obviously, 3 times 8, you have full 24-hour coverage. And then chatting ratios, okay? That's the biggest thing. You guys want to be making sure that your chatters are implementing a chatting ratio. They're shooting for a certain chatting ratio. You can have team events. You can have whoever has the best chatting ratio as far as, open rate, whoever has the best this, and provide bonuses for that. That's something that we do. And also management. What does managing these chatters look like? We do it inside of Discord. So as you guys can see, we have end of shift reports, break, chat manager team 1, managers clock in, clock out, breaks, chatter schedule, like all sorts of stuff. Everything that you see blocked out in red is what I think every beginner should at least have inside of their Discord management hub. You can see we have chatter monitoring with our chat manager, Sam, inside of the chats there. Overall, managing chatters is something that you definitely need to be doing. If you want to save yourself the headache, make sure you actually have a good team structure. Second to this is hiring. How do we get these people? First, where to find them? Upwork, onlinejobs.ph, OFM specific Telegram groups. Okay, there's tons of them, tons of different websites. List. Don't stop listing after 50 people. My biggest recommendation for hiring is get a big as pool as possible. Because at the end of the day, if you hired 1 chatter out of, let's say, 50 people, cool, you got the best chatter out of 50, right? But if I had 500 applicants and I hired 1 chatter, that chatter is going to be 20 times better than the one that I got at 50. Just how ratios work, okay? So don't skip out on hiring and do it for 2 days. Hire the first person that comes in on a call. No, okay? Be very strategic. Hire slow, fire fast. What to look for? Native English speakers, preferably experience already on OF, so you don't have to teach them what inflow is, how to chat, how to do all this shit. It's just not fun. 2 are also with this personality and competent. Make sure they're not a fucking idiot, and also trustworthy. Okay, if they seem sketch, if they seem like they're just kind of bullshitting you, look out for that. Okay, I've had shit happen to me before. Pay for this. Base is going to be $2 to $5 an hour. You can pay your reliever a little bit less. Your commission is going to be 2 to 8% of sales that they generate. Now, with pay hourly and commission, you want this to be kind of like a mirror, okay? So if you have really high commission, let's say 10%, you want your hourly to be $2 an hour. If you have $5 an hour, $6 an hour, you want your commission to be 1% or no commission, right? So at the end of the day, on our biggest pages, we like to pay our chatters hourly and almost no commission, 0 to 1% commission. Just because on such a big page, if we give commission, we're actually giving more money than we would hourly. And it's the same amount of work for the chatter at the end of the day, so you can get a lot of people for this. But now that we've switched to a lot of, this is some sauce for y'all guys, now that we switched to a lot of European chatters, so Serbia, Germany, France, countries like that, we're actually getting more hourly and commission. It's just better quality of work. But if you want to get a Philippine, you can easily, if you're making good money, charge them $4 an hour and literally no commission for them at all. You're going to generate a whole lot more money for you itself if you're generating enough. I think we started implementing less commission when we hit like 30, 40K per month. Now, training. This is huge. Okay, boys? The first day that you sign in a chatter, obviously, I think there's going to be different phases of training. You don't just train someone once and forever call it. So the first day that you onboard chatter, book them into the Discord hub and explain the Discord hub and requirements of the team. Maybe you record an evergreen video, have a video that you're always going to have in one place, but you need to provide training materials, how you start your conversation, build connections, all of that shit, how the model works, okay? Give them the personality sheet of the model, make sure that they understand, make sure you answer any questions, send them the training documents to review. You know, these are the 8 training documents that we send our chatters. And then after that, on their first and second shift that they have, review them, okay? You do not want your chatters to just be going in blind, or you don't want them just chat on a random OnlyFans account that, you know, you have no real experience. They haven't proved to you that they know that they have experience, except they just told you. That is not good, okay? Make sure that you guys are monitoring them in their first and second shift. Now, from this on and ongoing, end of shift reports. Simple enough said, end of shift reports is the biggest thing. Make sure that your chat manager or yourself is constantly making sure that they're sending screenshots after every end of shift, making sure that your chatting ratio, your open rate, all of that stuff is staying on par with what you want your numbers and metrics to be. And if anything dips below that, get on a call with that chatter, train them. If they're not doing good at all and they're not improving, fire them. Moving on to the last phase, which is phase 6, real results. So this is not just bullshit that I'm just spewing into your guys' ears, okay? This is real stuff. First thing, case study number 1 of a client of ours. This client went from literally $1,200 gross, $1,200 gross, and this was November of 2024, and she had a 1-to-2 chatting ratio. Way back in the beginning, like I said, trash chatting ratio, okay? If she had a 1-to-9 ratio, which is elite, like I was saying, she would have made, with the same amount of subs, no more traffic. Let's just say she made the same amount of subs, and she just had better chatting, she would have had a 1-to-9 ratio and would have made $5,400, almost 4 to 5x what she was making, okay? And then after she worked with us, 1 year later, we worked with her at the start of 2025. I believe she hit 30K a month one of the first months. Now she's, sitting around 45, 50K per month. But you can see with a 1-to-9 chatting ratio, she's made $44,000. If she had that 1-to-2 ratio, she would have $14,000. So that's just to show you the amplifier that chatting can actually do, okay? As you guys can see, this is before she worked with us, March, February, January, before, 3K, 5K. She was at 1K too, below this. And then after she started working with us in April, we have 9K, 20K, 25K, 20K, 20, 30, 35K. And like I said, now she's sitting around that $35,000 to $45,000 a month mark. But not only that, another creator, the importance of chatting, just to stress it, $109,000 gross. The same chatting ratio, 1 to 9. This isn't just bullshit that I spew at you guys. This is shit I actually do to this day, okay? Put some respect on my name. Anyways, $109,000 gross, and this was literally her first months on OnlyFans ever. This was July. You can see right here with this scroll wheel, we're at the very bottom of the screen. Her second month, she did 108,000, but I just wanted to flex to you guys how crazy if a 1 to 9 chatting ratio will be that you actually will make hella bread. And yes, we did go with the marketing. You know, my marketing system did print, of course, but if she had a 1 to 2 chatting ratio, that would have been, let's see, 11,300 times 2. She only would have made $22,000 gross and probably would have been $19,000 net. Instead, we made her $87,000 net because we knew what we were doing in the chats. Now, that is the full entire system. The chatting playbook that makes my agency $250K per month. The welcome phase, the 3 funnels, the chatting psychology, the team structure, everything. But here's the thing. I just gave you everything. I just gave you the entire blueprint. But knowing this and building this are 2 totally different things inside of your agency. And the truth is 90% of agency owners will watch this entire video, watch all this proof I just showed you, and do absolutely nothing with it. Or they'll try and implement it, they'll fuck it up, and they'll blame the system. And here's what actually happens. They skip the welcome phase, they send the same PPV to everybody, they ignore whales, they don't hire chatting, there's no team structure, there's no management, there's no tracking. And the main reason for that is because they didn't set it up correctly, they're not efficient, and they don't know how to actually run it. And then they wonder why they're still stuck at 5 to 10K a month. And so if you want this system built with you, the Notion dashboard, the scripts, the team management, the hiring, the playbook, everything, that's exactly what I do inside of my one-to-one consulting program. I build it with you. I review your messages, I help you train your chatters, I fix your funnels, I review your OF page, I make sure that the content strategy is good, I fix what's broken, and we will not stop. We don't stop until your chatting ratio is at least a 1 to 7 or higher. And so if you are stuck at 3 to 5 to 10K per month and you know that your chatting is the issue, apply at the link in the description. But I do have to warn you, okay? I have to warn you guys. This is not for beginners just looking for a quick fix. It's not for people who want to half-ass this, put 2 hours a day into it. It's for agency owners who are serious, genuinely serious about building a 50, 75, 100K a month agency. If that's you, I'll see you inside, because I promise you, without elite chatting, you are leaving thousands, 6 figures on the table. But other than that, boys, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.